Molly McGrath in Oklahoma, and E-Mac in the ATL. But we begin with some big quarterback questions for Sunday in the NFL. Our NFL reporter Jeff Darlington and NFL analyst Mina Kimes with us right now. And Aaron Rodgers dealing with a left wrist injury. Jeff, I'll start with you. Take us through the latest QB updates, beginning with Aaron Rodgers.
Well, the good news for Aaron Rodgers is that he was back at practice and he looks pretty good. So far, was able to get on the practice field on Thursday for the first time this week. Now, Mike Tomlin's still saying that he is questionable for this game as he deals with this wrist injury. Tomlin also talking about how it's really about comfortability and also making sure that it's a safety situation. It does seem at least like Rodgers would be able to play through this. Again, we'll keep an eye on that one. Jackson Dart still lacking progress through concussion protocol. That being the reason that he has been ruled out of this game against the Lions. Again, organization trying to be cautious with this, but he also still has to get through that protocol. Again, out for this game. We'll see if he can get back for the next one. Now, here's an interesting one. Daniel Jones popping up on the injury report with a calf issue. Now, this is the first time that he has been on the injury report with this issue. It does appear, at least based on my conversations, like he is trending toward playing. It doesn't seem like something that is going to keep him out of the game, but again, something to watch, not something that we expected to see midweek heading into this game. Joe Burrow, of course, all eyes on whether he can make his debut coming back from that toe injury. Listed as questionable so far, but again, we've seen him as a full participant for the most part in practice. That being obviously something that's very impressive at this point. I think the Bengals at one point did project to him playing that Thanksgiving weekend game, maybe not coming back at this point. He has continued to sort of beat the odds with his comeback. It does look like he does have a chance of playing in this game.
Mina, let's stick with Joe Burrow. Right now, ESPN Analytics has given the Bengals just a 3% chance to make the playoffs. What do you think about Cincinnati considering bringing Burrow back with such a long shot at making the postseason?
You know, it's easy for me to say it's a bad idea when they're out of contention. And even if they had a greater chance, I look at this defense and I don't see them going very far. You know, my thought is let's optimize that draft pick and help the defense. But that's not how players think. He wants to play. If he's healthy and he feels confidence in his ability to do so, I can't begrudge him for making the effort to be out there with his teammates. I will say one thing that gives me a bit of concern, though, and that is pertinent to this matchup. I don't think Cincinnati is going to be able to run the ball on the New England Patriots, who have an excellent run defense. So you could be looking at a scenario where Joe Burrow is dropping back 35 plus times to try to keep pace with the Patriots offense, who should be able to move the ball in Cincinnati. I don't love that, him coming off the injury and having to drop back and pass so many times. And that would also factor into my concern. But again, this is Joe Burrow. He knows his body. He wants to play.
All right, let's stay in the AFC. Last night, the Texans beat the Bills 23-9. That Texans defense was stout last night. What stood out to you most about Houston's win?
Yeah, I mean, it's the defense, right? Let's talk about this defense, which is arguably the best in the NFL. I've got them right there with Seattle and Denver and Philadelphia. You know, watching on the TV broadcast, you see all the times Josh Allen is being terrorized by that four-man rush, and it was multiple players, by the way, but obviously Anderson Jr. went crazy. What you don't see, and then you see on tape, is just how sticky the coverage was behind it. They have lockdown corners, DBs who can big plays on the ball. Bullock was the one last night, and that's a big problem against a Bills offense that can run the ball and do very little else consistently. They don't have guys who win downfield, particularly against man coverage. Houston was able to take advantage of that, but they've also been able to do that against better passing attacks as well. This defense is for real, and any team in the playoffs should be afraid to go up against them.
Hey, Jeff, the Bills sit at 7-4. You covered them last week in a win over the Bucs, where Josh Allen accounted for 6 touchdowns. What has the team said about where they stand as they try to get back on track for the final 6 games of the season?
Well, Jay, it was interesting because going into that game, there was a lot of talk about the word identity. This team's still trying to find the main target when it comes to wide receivers, but even he has been banged up lately. So we're talking about tight end Dalton Kincaid dealing with his issues. So until they can get everybody sort of healthy and playing like Keon Coleman right now, dealing with his issues, until they can get to that point, it's going to be tricky, and it is getting late.
Buffalo travels to Pittsburgh in Week 13.
So Week 1's Eagles-Cowboys division matchup. Philly won that one. However, the Cowboys are feeling better about themselves this time around. Upgraded their defense at the deadline to go along with one of the league's best offenses. The Eagles boast one of the league's best defenses, but struggling on O. Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni spoke today about the matchup. Take a listen. It's new on SportsCenter.
This is, I know this is Dallas, and I know what this game means to the entire city, and I know what it means to their city. But if we get more up for this game or start coaching differently for this game than we do for any other game, then we didn't do our jobs the other games. We treat every game the exact same. So we're going to coach our ass off every single game. We're going to prepare our ass off every single game, regardless of the circumstances.
It's time for Kimes' Keys. NFL analyst Mina Kimes running us through her keys for one of the biggest games of the week. And we're going to start with the big one here, Mina. Eagles, Cowboys, what's the biggest key there?
Yeah, I'm so fascinated by this matchup between the Cowboys offense and the Eagles defense. True strength on strength. I think for Dallas, the key is going to be whether they can find a way to attack the Eagles' third cornerback, who is Adoree Jackson. Philadelphia in the first matchup put Quinyon Mitchell on George Pickens and basically gave them help with CeeDee Lamb, Jackson help, with CeeDee Lamb. But Dallas has something very few teams in the NFL have, which is 2 number 1 wide receivers. They have the capacity to go after Adoree Jackson if they can keep pressure.
How about Colts Chiefs in that one?
Yeah, so the Colts, in my mind, acquired Sauce Gardner in part because of this matchup, because they want the ability to play man coverage against a Chiefs offense that has struggled against it. You saw that last week. For Kansas City, I think Mahomes using his legs against those looks is going to be big, but they have to find better answers versus man than they have as of late.
What about your biggest key for Vikings-Packers?
JJ McCarthy just has to play on time, and this applies to every game, but I think it's really notable against a Green Bay defense that's been very good but has struggled against quarterbacks when they play in rhythm, meaning between 2.5 and 3 second time to throw. They're actually 29th in EPA per play because pressure isn't getting home in time. This has been, of course, an issue for JJ, whose timing has been a problem. He holds onto the football too long. He has to play fast the way he has on some of those scripted drives to have success against this Packers defense.
Yeah, definitely looking for some success there from JJ McCarthy. Mina Kimes with the latest. Thanks so much, Mina.